You may recall my previous video following the release of Super Mario Bros. Wonder. There's been this huge debate of whether Charles Martinet is still voicing Mario in the game. A world in which he doesn't is a terrifying prospect. And those words echoed through my mind earlier today as I saw the announcement that Charles Martinet would indeed no longer voice Mario. On a strange X platform once known as Twitter, the realization hit me that we now live in such a world that feels like a strange, alternate one. The first thing to note is that Charles is thankfully alive and well, as this ominous red background with foreboding white text could have informed us of literally anything. Secondly, the whole Mario ambassador part implies he'll still work for Nintendo, though I can't imagine what that would entail, aside from talking to fans about his time as Mario at conventions as he usually does. I feel it would be a bit strange if he promoted new games despite not being involved with them, so we'll see. But Charles Martinet has been a constant throughout not only my life, but beyond even that. His presence was one of those fundamental elements that you'd come to expect, but perhaps more consistent than any other. You've got the graphics of your latest Nintendo console, game design by your Miyamotos and Koizumis, music by your Koji Kondos and Mahito Yokotas, but the voice that followed us through the adventure always came from Charles Martinet. Now, for the first time ever, Mario's history is segmented into before and after the Mario movie, in which Charles's performance is indeed a heartwarming farewell to the character, as I feared was the case.
Wahoo! Mario, you were amazing! Thanks, Dad.
You can't deny it's about as nice of an ending that there could be. Aside from the lovely tribute to him in the movie, he's still with us and will continue to represent and talk about Mario. There's no drama or beef that we know of between him and Nintendo, and the new guy is doing such a good job thus far that many fans insisted that it was still Martinet. And that's why I don't go around stating facts like this. I initially found the whole thing undeniably strange, considering the various times Charles claimed something along the lines of, "I want to voice Mario until I drop dead."
It's so easy for me, and it's fun for me, and it can never get old because I will love doing this until I'm 147. I hope I get there.
However, there's an additional quote that I hadn't seen before, in which he adds, "If someday I think I'm no longer capable of doing it, I will tell Nintendo to look into finding someone else." I spoke previously about how Charles sounded great in recent games like Mario Odyssey and Luigi's Mansion 3, but perhaps it's a challenge for him to achieve these voices at the age of 67. So whilst it's upsetting to have him step down whilst he can clearly still produce the voice, in a few years that may not be the case, and if Charles thinks this, well, he said himself that he'd notify Nintendo, quitting while he's ahead as opposed to having the voice noticeably deteriorate over time. Another point to make is that many games already use archive audio if new lines aren't necessary. Mario's vocabulary is pretty limited, so his "yeah" and "wahoo" are often reused, though with a new mainline game you generally have specific dialogue for things like cutscenes and new abilities. Martinet also mentions, "There are over 5 million audio files of me voicing Mario. I go into the studio and record 45 takes of every sound I can think of, so I'm not going anywhere for a long time." Though despite this, Nintendo have confirmed in a statement that Charles is not at all involved in Wonder, for which they could have used archive clips of Martinet that we've never heard before, but I'm guessing they don't want to mix and match. Next year we have a remaster of Luigi's Mansion 2, and I can only hope that the original voice clips are used, but this is going to be a recurring thing from now on. Whenever a remaster releases, are we going to get the original voices or new recordings? You can see how things can easily get messy. For something like the Mario Maker series, you have older game styles. At Super Nintendo World, the mascots have Charles voices. so I'd assume there's going to be some overlapping of voice actors, unless they go out of their way to purge all of the old material. But from what I've heard, the new voice sounds close enough that it shouldn't be too noticeable, which is kind of the idea. If I can slip into a new Mario game and not be distracted by an off-sounding impression, then job well done. Speaking of, we don't know who the new voice of Mario is and if he is also performing Luigi, Wario and Waluigi as Charles did, or if they'll be played by other actors. We know that Charles has stepped down completely and won't be voicing any of the characters, but Nintendo have indicated that there won't be an official announcement, simply stating character voice actors will be credited in the game credits, so please wait for the game to be released. But in the meantime, I'd like to take the opportunity to thank Charles for the decades of infectious joy that he's poured into these characters and spread wherever he went, creating many childhood memories that, whatever happens, will never truly die. This makes Odyssey the last big Mario game that he did, with fresh dialogue and loads of promotional appearances to hype it up. And it's quite possible that from this point onwards, that the feeling of a new Mario game won't be the same ever again. Mario was truly the last remaining franchise close to my heart that still had that same authenticity and feel that never wavered in quality. I've seen so many iconic characters recast over the past few years to varying success, whether that be due to death, controversy, or in this instance just old age. It's undoubtedly depressing, I'm not gonna lie, but it's about as smooth a departure as you could hope for, and we now have this time to let Charles know just how much his performance meant to people for all those years. So if you have any favourite memories, I'd love to read them down below. Thanks for watching everyone, see ya.
Bye-bye.